There are no real farewells in the work of revolutionary change. Only see you in the next struggle or see you on the next front line. Most of you are probably watching this message because way back in the day, you added your name to the LEAP Manifesto, a call for caring for the earth and one another. Others of you are seeing it because you heard about the LEAP through one of our films or projects. Some of you stumbled across this website in your research or activism. However you got here, what we share in common, I think, is a knowledge that politics as usual won't get us where we need to go, not in the face of the climate crisis or any of the other crises of poverty, exclusion, and oppression before us. Something big needs to shift, both in the scale and the speed of change. The LEAP as an organization, which is now closing its doors, grew out of the LEAP Manifesto. And I want to say a few words about that document because it's not an organization, it's a vision of the future. And I'm not ready to say goodbye to that vision yet. I hope you aren't either. When we wrote the manifesto, it was 2015, and Canada was in a federal election campaign. It was a change election, and it ended 9 years of Tory rule. The problem was that none of the major parties, including the opposition ones, were really treating climate change as a true crisis. They weren't telling the truth about simple scientific facts, like the need to keep fossil fuels in the ground and to freeze all new fossil fuel infrastructure. And most importantly, we weren't seeing political leaders of any stripe capturing the public's imagination with an exciting story about what a post-carbon economy could look like and feel like. Most troubling, connections weren't being made between the ecological crisis and the many human crises of poverty, racism, trampled Indigenous rights, sexual violence, mass incarceration, and more. So we convened a gathering of 60 movement leaders. And out of that came this forward-looking people's platform about what justice-based climate action could actually feel like, look like, the LEAP Manifesto. It was about policy, yes, but it was also about a shift in the values that govern our society, a shift away from limitless extraction, growth, and profit, and towards care and repair. When we launched the manifesto in 2015, the idea that the climate crisis demanded this kind of bold transformation of our economy and society was greeted, at least in establishment media circles, as dangerous and off the wall. Some of you may recall that we were attacked by 3 sitting premiers from 3 different parties, not to mention current and former prime ministers. There were dozens of attack articles and hit pieces. But what amazed us at the time was how it didn't work. Thousands of you proudly signed the manifesto anyway and started local LEAP groups and pressured your local MPs and political parties to embrace it. The support for the manifesto was so overwhelming and the interest was so high that we needed some kind of institutional structure to support it. And that's when we started the LEAP, the org. But in truth, we always saw it as more of a project than an organization that was going to last forever. There's already a lot of great NGOs, but usually the work is pretty narrowly focused on a single issue. The LEAP was about change of another order. We always knew that there was a mismatch between the sweeping transformation that we were calling for, changing pretty much everything in the name of justice and survival, and what any organization can do. Our org was staffed by committed organizers and activists, and we all knew that mass social movements that bring together diverse communities and constituencies are really the only force that can push governments to enact that scale and speed of change. So we saw our role at the LEAP as seeding the manifesto's vision into the culture and helping weave some of those needed alliances across sectors and historical divisions. We hope to play some part in building the kind of broad-based energy and support that could actually win a vision like the LEAP. Here are a few projects that I'm particularly proud of as the LEAP, the organization, closes its doors. The work that we did to lay out a plan to make polluters pay to clean up the mess in the oil patch, a plan that would put tens of thousands of people to work in the process. I'm still so excited about delivering community power, a transformational vision to put the post office at the center of a just transition. We were years ahead of the pandemic in naming the essential work of care. After all, the LEAP is subtitled Caring for the Planet and One Another. But we now need to recognize care work as low carbon work and a key part of the new economy rooted in good green jobs. I'll always love our films popularizing the vision for a Green New Deal, most memorably Message from the Future with Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, but there were many others. These films have been viewed by millions of people around the world and are still used by community groups and educators, helping inspire a new generation of activists. 6 years after we launched the manifesto, millions now see its vision as simple common sense. Now, we didn't manage to turn our vision of the manifesto into the law of the land. That's true. But we'd like to think that we played a role in expanding the boundaries of the possible, along with so many of our movement partners, allies, and supporters. It has truly been an amazing ride. I'm going to resist the urge to name particular people who built the LEAP. You know who you are. This has always been a collective effort, from the writing of the manifesto to your local LEAP groups to the collective design of our workplace that strives to live its values. I do want to thank all of you for believing in us, for supporting us, for organizing with us, for sustaining us with your donations and with your volunteer hours. Here's what I want to leave you with. Organizations ebb and flow. They come and go. They're at the mercy of funders and pandemics and personnel and all kinds of things out of our control. But visions of the future, maps to different worlds, they aren't so easy to get rid of. Let's keep working together to make sure that the LEAP's vision lives on. Thank you, and have a safe and beautiful summer.